One of the things that God has been teaching me recently comes from John 9. It says, "As he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, 'Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?'" So just the context there of Jesus traveling, and here is probably somewhat of a familiar sight. This man was born blind, and his disciples stop and ask Jesus this question that's somewhat theological about the nature of sin and generational sin. And I mean, it's interesting, but in Jesus' response, Jesus answered, "It was not that this man sinned or his parents, but that the works of God might be displayed in him." What I love about that, and what I've been challenged by, is sometimes we see things and we try to have a discussion about them. We try to understand them more. And I think there's times that God doesn't need us to completely understand it, but when we see needs, meet it. It's beautiful. They see this man born blind, just completely shut out from society, culture, unable to provide for himself. And the disciples, instead of rushing to meet a need that they could, they ask this theological question, and Jesus is like, it's none of that. It's none of that. And it's beautiful to think that Jesus knew the man's name, he knew the parents' names, he knew where he was born, he knew when he was born, he knew all of that. But Jesus directs them away from understanding, which isn't a bad thing. But in this moment, he directs them away from understanding, and he directs them toward meeting the need. And I think often I will see someone in need, whether it's on the side of a street or it's someone that has maybe like an emotional need or something, and I find myself in the same way the disciples did, quickly running to try to understand it more and wonder why. Do they deserve it? Is it because of this? Is it because of that? And I think God can know all that. And I think he's been pressing me more to just meet the needs that you're able to. And I love the way that our church does that and meets needs of this community. And I have been really working to do that more. Less having to understand it and more meeting needs where I can.